And if you've got a story you'd like to share, do drop me an email, gemma.woodman@bbc.co.uk. We'd love to hear from you. In a moment, we're going diving off the Dorset coast for seahorses. But first of all, we're diving into Cornwall's rock and roll archives. Oh yes, it wasn't all skiffle groups, you know. Our own former mod, David Stafford, takes a trip back 50 years to meet the region's music legends.
When I was younger, so much younger than today, I could get me leg over no trouble. Lucky for me that Martin, a mod DJ, has given me a ride. Cornwall in 1966 may not have had a Carnaby Street or a Penny Lane, but it was not swinging. Thanks for the lift. The Smoky Joes were one of dozens of schoolboy bands who gigged all over the county in halls like this one. Gavin Carter was their teenage drummer. You had a bit of a fan club, did you?
I think it's fair to say we did, yes. We had a coach that we put all our equipment in, and we certainly took a lot of supporters with us. So we would turn up to a venue with, say, 30.
Oh, so you brought your own audience?
Yes, which was welcomed, as you can imagine, by landlords. And
They started in 1965 because I used to run lots of dances for the youth club in this hall. No equipment, no nothing. So
this is what impresses me. Teenagers, you're not only playing in the bands and getting the back, you're organising the gigs, weren't you?
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And how much were you making an average evening?
Not a lot. Going rate for a band in those days was actually 12 quid for an evening's performance. That was the going rate.
Adjusted for inflation, that's like 210 quid. Rock and roll. Before the M4 and M5, getting to the West Country from London was like travelling to Mars. But all the same, big London bands like the Kinks and the Who still made the effort, and local bands usually muscled in on the action.
We actually got into Plymouth Guildhall with the Who on one occasion.
Oh, so you were supporting big names?
Oh yeah, yes. So I mean the Smoky Joes were listed as the support act for the Who in Plymouth Guildhall.
Keith booked the Birds to play St Austell Church Hall, not the Mr Tambourine Man Birds. This was Ronnie Wood's band, years before the Faces or the Stones, and they stayed in Port Scaffold.
His house.
Our house,
What?
Yeah.
Who stayed at your... Rob Wood stayed at your house?
Indeed, yeah.
Did he behave himself?
No.
Mike Groves was just 14 when he became a guitar for hire in local bands, including the Smoky Joes.
There was 14 groups alone in the St Austell area. 14.
You know. And was there work for them? I mean, when were they playing?
But there was no discotheques.
The year's hottest gig was the Rock and Rhythm Contest, held in Truro City Hall. Picture the scene. It's 1966. Hordes of fans from Penzance, Port Scaffold, St Austell, Redruth, all waiting out here to hear their favourite bands. Among the bands playing that night were popular beat combo, The Reactions. Now, The Reaction, made up of Truro schoolboys and a 20-year-old butcher's boy, lead singer and hair enthusiast, Roger Brokenshire.
Taking you back now to the fabulous 50s.
And he's still belting it out today.
Here we go. Old classic. Move it, Mothers.
Roger started entertaining when he was just 10 years old.
In 1952, that's when I first started at Allman's Canteen in Camborne. We used to be in concert parties and going around the village halls, and it stemmed from there, really.
The contest was the X Factor, the pop idol of its day. Serious stuff.
It was a talent competition, the Championship of Cornwall. They'd come in their coach loads to support their favourite band. The City Hall was packed.
Let's go to the hall.
screaming girls. We was young then. But no, it was great fun, and I'm glad I was part of it.
The winners were guaranteed gigs in the best palais des danses in the region. And 50 years ago, that glorious prize was awarded to The Reaction.
Pickett way back in 1966. This was the one that won us the competition like this. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour.
And it launched the career of the band's drummer, a chap who did ever so well for himself. The band that became Queen had its roots in a band called Smile, featuring guitarist Brian May and drummer Roger Taylor.
Roger really was very artistic, really. Very, very quiet guy. Lovely guy, lovely guy.
Roger Taylor's mom booked Smile for a charity gig, but by showtime the band had changed its name to Queen. So history was made here, 27th of June 1970. Truro City Hall hosted what was Queen's first gig ever, and Mike was their first bass player.
We weren't polished, let's put it that way. It sounded like Queen, you know, everything was Queen, except our arrangements were a bit naff.
The name Queen was chosen by the new singer, Freddie Mercury.
Freddie and me joined on the same day. They knew him, you see.
Yeah.
They'd known him for a long time.
Right.
And I think he was trying to get into the band. They gave him a job and that was it. And then he just mushroomed into the superstar, you know, he became.
Freddie also had a hand in choosing Mike's stage gear.
Freddie took me down to Chelsea, Kings Road, and we'll get you some velvet trousers. So he got these, I put them on, and he said, no, you have to have them tighter than that, Mike. So I said, oh, for Christ's sake, Freddie, I said, they're too tight. So I pulls on the next one, I hardly breathe, you know. He said, they'll stretch. So we came out, jumped on into the tube on the way back. As I went to sit down, they split from the back, right the way down, right through the crotch, and that was it. All my shirt hanging out and everything. And there's Freddie laughing his head off, you know.
The Smoky Joes could have had their moment in the sun too. They were offered a recording contract, but they didn't sign.
We didn't.
You didn't sign?
We didn't,
You
no.
were offered the deal of a lifetime to go to London and make gramophone records for a big company, and you turned it down.
That's right. I suppose they were cautious and a bit wary of it. Let's put it that way.
How do you feel about that now? Do you wish you'd done it?
Personally, I do, yes. Yes, I think we should have gone for it. You know, what the hell, let's go for it.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
And yet Mike, having put one precariously trousered leg on the ladder to fame, decided to step off and return to Cornwall.
I just love being in Cornwall, and it's just quality of life, isn't it, in the end? And I'd played for 7 years, and that was enough for me. I enjoyed the play, but where we were going was not somewhere I wanted to go, you know.
Roger Brokenshire has never stopped gigging. A stranger to jealousy, he's dead chuffed that Roger made the big time.
I'm just only pleased I was part of getting Roger up that little ladder. I've had a wonderful time. It's like a horse race. They've got to be winners and losers. But we're not losers. I mean, we're keeping the music going. There are many singers at 75 still going.
And going, and going, and going.
No plans to retire. No. I love it. I love it.
Oh yes, I'm the great pretender. Lovely job, gang. Lovely.
As rare and mysterious